I like the originality on the hat, though.
Yeah, is that like a colonial hat?
Yeah, I don't know.
It's almost like a Mexican
I think.
old trim.
Yeah, I think it's some sort of John Adams relic or something like that. It's pretty sweet. Wow. Let me ask you, Tim. What is the sorry to bother you? What does the hammer and sickle represent to you?
To me?
Yeah.
Well,
What would you say it objectively represents, and what does it represent to these people?
I think to the average person, it represents the flag of the Soviet Union. Yeah. If anybody walking by, they're going to look at that, see the star, the sickle, and the hammer, and think Soviet Russia.
Yeah.
I think I would imagine with the discussion about Russia and Trump and that whole thing, people might be confused about why they're flying a Soviet flag. But what they've told me is that it just represents communism in general. It's the hammer and the sickle are the sign of the peasants and the proletariat, and you can't really have a discussion at length about it because they start asking you why you're asking questions in the first place. So look, I'll just tell you, when I asked them, that flag is, it's a nationalist flag, people look at it and it represents the Soviet Union to them, and they said, why are you asking this? You're a Nazi, and then it, got in my face. So it disappoints me that some of the Trump people have come up here and are just doing nothing and they're kicked out, because you're not going to convince anyone to change their mind or to stop fighting if you attack them, right? It's insulting someone's certainly not going to solve anything. So,
do you think there are one or two identifiable roots and causes for this sort of identitarian, like groupthink, cultural Marxism?
Groups?
Yeah. And the unwillingness to have a conversation?
I don't know what it is, because look, communism, anarchy, socialism, they don't mix. They don't. Like I grew up as an anarchist, and I had a lot of friends. They were all anarchists. Basically, for most people who don't understand, anarchy is basically the idea, not of chaos, but of completely flat society where decisions are totally democratic and without some hierarchical structure. Whereas in the U.S., we elect representatives who act on our behalf, which is not full democracy. But communism, it can't support, although there's similarities, they're at odds with each other in a lot of different ways. It's strange to me then, because I don't know what the unifying factor is other than opposition to Donald Trump or Republicans. When they say, these people are white supremacists and they're actually yelling, there's a black guy and a Chinese woman standing right in front of them. It's like, come on, clearly you're missing something. Sure, they could be racist, absolutely, but you're not going to, like, I'm mixed race, and they tell me I'm a white supremacist, and I'm like, why? Am I suicidal? Like, that's crazy.
Isn't that also contrarian to the social justice idea that you are what you feel you are inside? I mean, couldn't you claim to be something?
Oh, man. The whole transracial thing's a huge debate right now. It's very contentious. I kid you not. There's a paper on... I'm not an expert in this. Lacey Green was just talking about this. She did a video where there was a scientific paper that compares the arguments from transracialism with transgenderism, and how the arguments are almost the same. The same logic is claimed between the two. And one is okay and one isn't. So it's really strange. Like, I'll say this. You have Rachel Dolezal, who is told she's transracial. You have Sean King, who is disputed. He claims that his mother cheated or whatever, but according to their logic, and it's not my opinion, he passes, in which case it's strange to see that they support someone like Sean King and oppose other people who are actually minorities who disagree with their opinions. You know what I mean? I'm not going to get into the whole argument about Sean King, but it seems that if you agree with their opinion, you're whatever fits their narrative. Me, I'm a mixed race person, but if I say anything that would disagree with them, all of a sudden I'm a white supremacist, I'm white, and if I say anything, if I ever agree with them, then I'm mixed race. So there's no real discussion, I guess.
Intellectual diversity is last if on the line of succession regarding the diversity they so claim to want.
Well, they won't even have a conversation. I mean, they came up to me, threatened me with physical violence. One guy did. Other people started yelling I was a Nazi, and then some people came up, got in my face, and said I was a Nazi, and I said, can we talk? And they said no. One woman said, you don't even know what fascism means. I said, it's a national authoritarianism. And she says, no, it's not. I said, oh, you want to talk about it? She said, no. Oh, okay. Well, what's the point? So they're actually posting on these forums on, for example, there's a feminist forum, there's an anarchist forum, where they flat out say, conversation is a liberal tactic. Conversation is liberal, right? They don't like liberals. Liberals are weak. At the start of the event, oh, this is going to get...
Ooh, there's a pro-lifer. Except he looks like he might have been in the revolution, the actual revolution in Cuba or something. So maybe they won't hurt him. But then again, he sounds white, so it's going to be a problem.
This is gonna get weird.
Yeah.
I cried for 10 years. That was a little girl I always. 20 years later, how's your career coming? She came back from the Midwest. She's typing copy for $15 an hour, and I was a master electrician making 80. I cried again. Men have no, I would have raised that baby. She would have made me a grandfather. Women have rights in utero. Power to the woman.
That's not.
Yeah.
Okay, I think we may have thought that was something different than it was.
No, that's exactly what I thought it was.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, he's pro-life.
It is?
Yes. He said women have rights in utero.
Women in, as in
rights in utero.
as in babies have rights in utero?
Fetuses have rights.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's what he said.
Huh.
There's a whole pro-life guy right here. Standing in front of...
This is not shit. This is speech.
No, that is shit.
They have
We
a right
don't
to
want
be
to say.
heard. Freedom of speech. They want to be heard. These babies are biting your butt. These babies are biting your butt.
Oh, formation.
Don't they have right to be mine? Can you not? Do they have right to be
Divest! Decolonize! No room for fascist lies! Divest! Decolonize! No more room for fascist lies! Divest! Decolonize! No more room
See
for
what they do with free speech? This is free speech in action. Come on, cover it. So they can't get a picture. Free speech. Come on, block it. Free speech. The babies want to be heard. These babies want to be heard. They have voices. They have pure trimester. They have a right to be heard. They want to be moms. They want to be doctors. They want to be first female president. Female president, potentially. But they can't speak because these young people have a right to shut down speech.
Sorry, we're not going to let you do this uncontested.
Excuse me.
We're not going to let you do it uncontested.
And you know what? These babies are pissing on your ankle right now.
We're not going to let
They
you say
said
these things
They say
uncontested.
think.
You will not say these
They say
things
think.
uncontested.
This is not a fascist country
You will
yet.
not say these things uncontested.
This is not a fascist country. I'm a Jew, and at Skokie, when they got a permit to march, I march for their right to march.
Say these
I
things
believe in free speech.
uncontested.
What did George Carlin say? Holy shit, the left is
Say
like
these
the
things
fundamentalist right.
uncontested. Nope.
Political correctness, you can't say anything. Holy shit.
Say whatever you want,
Think.
you just can't expect to say it without being confronted.
Well, you know
Free speech
what?
goes both ways.
Listen to him.
Freedom
He
of
has
speech
free
does not
speech.
mean freedom of
Listen to
expression.
her. They have
Freedom
free
of speech
speech.
does not
You
mean
do
and
not,
we're using
do
our
not
speech
shut
to
them
yours.
down. Do not shut them down. I will die for their right, like I did in Skokie,
You will not
for the
say
Jewish
these
community to
things
hear their view.
uncontested.
I'm
You
a
will
libertarian.
not
I will
say
die
these
to fight the
things
Constitution, which is
uncontested.
free
What does
speech.
uncontested mean?
I'm contesting him right now. I'm contesting him.
That looks like you're contesting him. It looks like you're silencing him. It looks like you're blocking his
Free
sign from
speech
seeing anyone
is
else.
not the same.
As what? As what is this? This is a what?
They're
This is a
speaking
voice.
from the womb.
Nope.
No, they're not. That's a lie. Partial birth abortions aren't a thing. That was something the right came up with in the 90s to try and limit the access to, for
It
abortions
was
to
going
women.
to Clinton's desk when Clinton was president. He
So
would
what?
have signed it.
He was a neoliberal hack. I
It
don't
doesn't
care.
matter.
It doesn't matter who would have
I've
signed
been
it.
with the
It-
progressives for 20 years.
Then you should
Protesting
know
Bush Cheney,
that the far
protesting
right-
the Pentagon. I'm not a far right. Fuck the fascist
I'm not
right.
saying you're
Fuck
far
the
right. I'm saying
socialist
the
left.
partial birth
Fuck
nonsense
the-
on your board
fuck the-
is from the far right.
Fuck the, I'm not far right.
I'm not saying you are.
I'm
Please
a
listen to my.
constitutionalist.
This is far.
I'm a
Well, the
libertarian.
Constitution
Freedom
is
of freedom,
bullshit
opinion.
too. So
Freedom of opinion. That's your opinion.
Yes, it
but
is.
I'll die for your right for that opinion.
okay, I don't know
And I'll
why
die
you would
for
do
the
that, but all
Constitution.
right.
Because this is the basis of your freedom to say your
No,
opinion.
the basis of my
and I'm
freedom
not,
is based on
listen to
human
him.
reason.
Listen to her.
Which
I'm
the
an
Constitution was
unreasonable
based on.
70-year-old.
It was basic human reason.
Yeah, basic human reason is what gave us the rights to free
And
speech.
that is what the Constitution's based upon, so I don't know what your counter to his argument is.
No, the Constitution, the First Amendment is based on that, but most of the Constitution is based on racist white supremacy. I mean, they devalued slaves in the Constitution. They devalued the rights of women. They devalued the rights of non-property owners. The Constitution is a almost 300-year-old document that needs to be massively updated to actually fit with a modern age, modern reason, and the actual rights of all the people in this land, which they don't currently. The Constitution needs to be scrapped, needs to be rewritten. Society as a whole should be reorganized to better protect the rights of everyone, not just the white, rich capitalists of the world.
How does that change free speech?
Free speech is still free speech. People are allowed to say whatever they want. I'm not countering that. What I'm saying is
Tell me
that
when I can respond.
those who spread lies and false information need to be contradicted, need to be counteracted. Facts and reason and truth should always prevail. This board, what this contains, is false information. Partial birth abortions do not exist.
Okay, let
Hey,
me
they were
respond.
voted down. They would have. They were voted up, and Clinton would have signed it. Let me respond.
Okay.
My mother, who was African American, Jewish, Irish, French Canadian, Spanish, Dutch, Wampanoag, Narragansett, said slavery is normative behavior throughout human history. In Africa and China, in Europe, Native Americans, whoever was docile, got whoop-ass by the predatory, they'd concubinize the woman and enslave the survivors. My father looked like Sammy Davis Jr. His brother was my complexion, unknown white. So I'm black and I'm proud. Slavery is normal. The white man did not create evil. All these Black Lives Matter chances a half an hour ago, they were all white. I said, I'm black and I'm proud. But they were shutting me down.